Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. You already know. Back at it like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye, bye, bye. In a minuto standard direct fashion, we're going to get straight into the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel, and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled, and I'm very much so appreciative. So gracias. So I wanted to talk about sentencing, right? I wanted to give my little 2 cents and my little opinion because I've been asked several times about Wade Wilson and 50 Fist, Crip Mac, right? One of them got saved. The other one got paved, right? The other one got laid out. Let's talk about Crip Mac first. You know, Crip Mac is a person whose intelligence is always tested. People think because he has certain things going on, like schizophrenic, he's schizophrenic, he's self-admitted, right? And other things that he's not an intelligent person. And that's the furthest from the truth. That guy right there is highly intelligent. Okay. He knows what it is. He just puts on a persona, kind of tries to act hard, or does a little too much when it comes to the cameras. But when he's around his circle or other people, man, that Crip Mac thing goes away and he's just himself. Now, he got caught, 7-8 months ago with a strap that didn't even work, and he picked up a Fed case. How the feds knew how he was moving and wiggling, well, that was probably YouTube. When you're on here on YouTube and the social media and you're doing this and all that rah-rah shit, what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. They're going to see you. They're going to see you for what you are, and they're going to make an example out of you. And that's what happened to Crip Mac. He was moving recklessly. He was moving, and it got real tricky. And ultimately, the circle he had around him disappeared, left his ass out to dry. And why he was moving around with a gun allegedly that didn't even have a clip or didn't even work, I don't know. I can't tell you. Some people, they just like the feel of the steel, man. I guess they just want to act a certain way. And sometimes acting will get your motherfucking shop shut down. And that's what happened with Crip Mac. And there was so many people saying, he was going to get 10 years and 15 years. And he was looking at all day, and they were going to get him with the career criminal. And the feds ain't no joke. And a lot of these people that were talking were people that never have done Fed time or never been involved with indictments or RICOs. And then there are some like blood on the razor wire, and those who were giving you an intelligent aspect of a look into the Fed time and what he could get. They were looking at just different things. Ultimately, yesterday or the day before, Adam dropped a video, Adam 16, right? And in that video, he pulled up to Crip Mac's sentencing, his sentencing hearing. And it was crazy because he couldn't pull up when he first got locked up. If you guys remember and recall that, he got into beef with China Mac, and he wasn't trying to pull up or do none of that or help or assist. But he definitely pulled up to the sentencing. Why? Well, because he's Crip Mac's friend, and he was very concerned. Nah, he wasn't concerned. He was concerned with the views he would get, and he got a lot of them. They came in abundance because everybody wanted to know exactly what Adam was doing at Crip Mac's sentencing hearing and how much time Crip Mac was going to get, right? But more so, that video was basically, it was like a search for coffee. All Adam did was complain about having to wake up so early, and where was the damn coffee, brother? So that's pretty much how that went down. But ultimately, Crip Mac got 33 months in federal prison. Now, let me explain to you. I've never done time in the feds. I don't want to do time in the feds. I'm trying to stay as far away from that as possible. That's why I would never go on no jumper. But I'll tell you this, and this is the truth. He got a blessing, a spanking. They spanked him on his hand. That's it. That was definitely a blessing, man. 33 months for, his criminal history, the charges, albeit it was just a fucking gun that didn't even work. Still, they could have stretched him out. He could have got 10. I was expecting him to get a little under 10, 8, 9 years. But he ended up getting 33 months. Now, there are even those that are saying, well, he must have told on someone. About what? All he did was tell on himself. That man went in there, conducted himself as he should, received his 33 months, and now he's doing it pushing to the next light. Right now he's going to the feds, and it is what it is. Now, that is a blessing because it could have been much longer. So with 33 months, he's already got 7 or 8 months time served. Now, you do know in the feds, you do day for day, so he will be doing the duration. So he got about a little over 2 years left. And then we'll see if the 55th Street Crit can come back, right? On Mama Bear, it's going to see all right. Well, it is going to see all right because 33 months ain't shit. And I'm sure Crip Mac can do that standing on his head if he isn't doing that already just because he wants to. Now, Adam pulling up and making a spectacle of it and, hey, oh, yeah, I'm here for the sentencing and the hearing. That was just straight propaganda and bullshit. Where were you at? Where was your antennas, Adam, during this whole time he was doing time? Did you put money on his books? Were you there visiting him? Were you there to facilitate some type of conversation or a friendship? Or was it more so just a spectacle, man, to put on for your subscribers to show that, let's go be nosy and see what Crip Mac is up to after all these long months of not even mentioning his name? Anyways, 33 months ain't bad, Now, what's going to happen to him in the feds? If I'm going to give my brutal, honest opinion, I'm going to say, man, it depends on where they send him, to be truthfully honest. All that 55th Street and all that crippin' and all that doesn't fly in certain prisons, in the federal prison. And to be totally honest with you, if he happens to come into contact with people like the DC Blacks and brothers from there, it could be ugly. It could be an ugly situation, man. They don't play. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't know Crip Mac and they're put off by the way he moves or acts. The feds is a lot different from the state from what I'm hearing. I got a lot of homeboys family that have done time in the feds and they move differently in the feds. Okay. They're not about the bullshit. They're not about the street gang banging. They're about some real life shit. And it switches up and changes from yard to yard. And you better be about your business, man, because you will be tested. They'll test your ability as a man. And that's just federal prison for you. Like I said, if he runs into people like the DC Blacks and brothers from out of state, they might be feeling some type of way about the way he characterizes himself or acts. If he runs into guys from like New York, man, one thing I could tell you about New York City, shout out to New York, is the Crips and Bloods are basically established in New York and they look up to California as being the founding birthplace of Crips and Bloods, man. So, they always call guys from California, hey, big homie, what's up, big homie? It's because they go back to them roots, man, and they show love. So it just depends on where Crip Mac goes, how his 33 months is going to be. Somebody said, I seen a DM and or a message, and someone said, he's probably going to go to one of those weak camps, man, those level 1, type 2 camps. And you know what? I don't think so. I think he's going to go to a real life prison, probably medium to maximum custody. And he's going to have to figure it out, man. He's going to have to figure it out. Now, Crip Mac has been known to throw them hands, do his thing, and stand his ground. So I'm pretty confident wherever he goes, he could do his time. But if he goes in there trying to be the 55th Street Crip, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be ugly, because there's people that have been doing time for a long time that show respect and carry themselves a certain way, man. They're going to be pretty tripped out on it. All that internet shit and persona that you put on for the internet might work here on the YouTube yarda, but that shit is not going to work on the real yard. Okay. And that's just a fact. So, hey, many blessings to Crip Mac. He got love, 33 months. I thought he was going to get more time. And I'm just happy that man's going to get some get backs and be able to double back and be with his family, because I'm sure his family needs him, man. It's unfortunate that the people that were around him didn't guide him into a better situation, but kind of left him out to dry. But again, you're your own man. You make your own decisions in life. Didn't no one put that thing in your hand and tell you to go fucking play? Go play a Crip, right? You have to be a real one. And if you're a real one, then you know. Anyways, man, let's talk about Wade Wilson, Deadpool, right? He was sentenced yesterday. And shout out to JD Delay, man. He showed the sentencing hearing live. And if you guys haven't tapped in with JD Delay, man, go show him some love. He's always on point. He's always on deck with his shit. Good friend of the channel. So I wasn't really up on Wade Wilson until just recently. Okay. And I guess he's a TikTok sensation because of his tattoos, his looks, or whatever. But I'm more focused on the cases, what he was going through, and the serious nature and the heinous crimes that he committed. And I could say wholeheartedly now that he committed because, I mean, he's been sentenced. It's already done. And there is no more allegedlys with this guy. You know, there's a lot of people that like him or he's an attention drawer, right? For whatever reason, whether it be, like I say, his tattoos or his looks. I know females are all in love with this guy. They're acting like he's the next Iron Man, right? But the fact of the matter is, man, he did 2 crimes that there's no coming back from, you know. And I don't even want to repeat his crimes. I think those of us that are up on game with him know exactly what he's locked up for. You know, 2 murders that basically were a cowardice act, you know. And whether he wants to blame it on bath salts and blame it on this and blame it on that, everyone's always playing the blame game, quick to point the fingers at something or someone else. When at the end of the day, man, you have to be accountable for your own actions, regardless if you're faded, regardless if you're high, regardless of any of that bullshit. You can't blame it on your gang, your group, your fucking habits. You know, you did that, and now you have to stand up for that or stand down. And he was sentenced to two death sentences. Okay, and my homeboy asked me yesterday, and several other people the same thing. Why would they give him 2 death sentences? That's not the true question. The true question is why not? He committed 2 deaths, right? 2 murders. You know, in order to give righteous justice to the families, to the victims, then they each must get their righteous due, right? So they could have easily gave him 1 death sentence. I mean, but what happens if later on, man, there's a discrepancy in the courts or something happens, a new law changes and it's overturned, right? I don't think the family's going to feel like they got much justice. Okay. Now, if they give them 2 of them, it gets very tricky. Okay. That's the way I'm sure the district attorney and everybody was thinking. If they give them 1 for each, then if for some reason 1 gets overturned, quite possibly the other one will stick. Now, I'll tell you right now, in the state he's in, Florida, what he's going through, I believe it's Florida is where he's at. They be killing motherfuckers over there, right? So it's not like California where you could sit on death row 20, 30 years, appeal all the way to the Supreme Court, and then eventually they throw you out in the yard or shit gets overturned. Florida, states like Texas, man, it's off with your head, right? They are not playing over there. They take that shit very, very serious. So I don't think this guy's going to last longer than about 10 years. He might be around 10 for his appeals. You know, what happens when you get sentenced to death? I have a homeboy that got his death sentence overturned. He went through it. I know there's another cat from my town on Crip. He's a Mexican Crip, man. He was sentenced to death. He's going through his motions. So I got a little bit of a background with knowing people that have been on death row, right? And, you know, that life, a lot of the people that have lived life on death row can tell you straight up, man, that some of them guys, they enjoy it. They enjoy it because they're separated from population. It's not what everyone thinks it is, that it's just a lonely existence. I mean, I'm sure it's different in every state. I know in the state of California, they had their commissary, their single man cell, their little TVs. They got their little yard, their little phone time. So they had it going on for the most part. Albeit, yes, they're separated from population. There's not too much interaction or socializing with people outside of that tira, you know, but the people that were on the tier, they built relationships, friendships. I mean, prison is prison, and wherever they lock them up, they're going to lock them up. Now, I couldn't even imagine being on death row, understanding that other people are in charge of the day that I pass, right? That'd be a hard, cold existence and something to live with. It'd always be in the back of your mind. You can never forget that shit. But a lot of these guys are the understanding that they're going to end up going out in a casket right off the tier, man. More times than not, they pass away from diseases or different types of circumstances rather than execution. But this guy got the double up, the double bubble. And there's a lot of people saying, well, he didn't deserve to. They overdid it. He deserved every bit of that. Okay, I'm not an advocate for the death penalty. I'm definitely not an advocate for anyone being incarcerated that doesn't deserve it or doesn't need to be. I'm an advocate for rehabilitation, helping people, putting them in programs so that way they don't keep coming in and out of prison. And that way they could be a key member to society. You know, they could pay taxes and help. That's what I'm about. But in this guy's case, this guy made a mockery of the courts, made a mockery of the justice system, tried to justify his actions, didn't take accountability, basically smiled and laughed and garnered the attention he was getting, right? So in this case, this guy might just be a perfect candidate for the double up, the double, right? He needs the double, the double bubble, the Oreo cookie. The white guy's in the middle and two black cookies on the side of them. They're dunk them. Because some people just don't belong in this world. Some people don't know how to act, don't know how to carry themselves. And anyone who victimizes women in this way while they're asleep or runs them over several times. And again, I said I wouldn't talk about his crimes, but I mean, we just can't talk about him without talking about the bullshit he done, right? Deserves, the same fate, actually. But he did get sentenced to 2 death penalties. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't happen all the time, right? But again, like I said, the only thing I could think of is that they wanted to basically give each victim their justice. And at the same time, he's such a bad person. They wanted to make an example, set a precedent, lay a foundation down, and let people know, man, we can and will hit you for every different charge. I've seen homeboys, you get 5 years for this charge, 10 years for this charge, a gang enhancement on this charge, fucking career criminal altogether. I've seen them, charges stacked. So there ain't no difference here. The only thing is he has to pay the ultimate price. But there's 2 victims that made the ultimate sacrifice that didn't even choose to. He took people out of their comfort zone and did what he did because that's how he felt that night. He let whatever drugs or whatever was on his mind overtake the fact that he had 2 human beings right there with him, and he destroyed them and their families' lives forever. You can't change that. So I'm sure the family feels that there's justice being served, but I don't think a lot of people are going to feel there's justice till the needle hits the skin or till they place the lotion in the basket, right? He's gone. I was not surprised. Sometimes when you want all the attention on you and you're clout chasing and the lights are shining bright on you, well, that's when they're going to make you the biggest example. That's the way this world works. It's a two-edged sword. Sometimes the same shit that'll make you smile will make you cry. That's a fact. So these 2 death penalties that he received, I wasn't very surprised. It wasn't like I was, oh man, that's crazy. Nah, it is what it is. People that think he deserves get backs or that he could be rehabilitated, you done bumped your head. If someone doesn't admit guilt, someone doesn't basically show remorse and say, you know what, I did that, man. This is why I did that. I don't want to blame it on because I was inebriated. I don't want to blame it because I was drunk. I don't want to blame it on the next man. You know what? I did that. I'm going to go ahead and stand up for that. You got to respect it. You ain't got to like it, but you got to respect it. But those that continue to, I'm innocent. It wasn't all me. I wasn't thinking straight. Whatever. Guess what? Die, fuckface. Allegedly. You know what I mean? That's how it is. Excuse me if you guys could hear that in the background. My neighbor is mowing his lawn early this fucking morning. He don't know how to act, right? So I was scared. No wonder his lawn looks better than mine. Anyways, but that's the way I feel in the situation. Like, people ask me, hey, what's your 2 cents? I don't think I could tell you anything different than anyone else could tell you. I think that man deserves what he got. Just like I think Crip Mac deserves what he got. How can I be so easy on Crip Mac? Oh, he got 33 months. He had a gun. The shit didn't even work. He's a baboso, okay? He didn't fucking know what he had. One of the homies was like, here, hold this. Oh, 55, my first gun, right? Your first gun don't even work, stupid. I remember we used to have a homeboy like that. A homeboy that was so reckless, and I say reckless not in a respectful way. I guess it could sound not respectful, right? But he was a little bit reckless, meaning that motherfucker is going to shoot first and ask a whole bunch of questions later that we didn't even want to answer, right? So the clip would be taken out, bullets taken out. Here, hold that, bro, because he had to hold something, And then the one time we did that, I remember the homeboy was like, "No, fuck that, bro. This was dangerous with that shit." Last time he almost blew my eardrum out. He took the shit out. We needed it, right? Ain't that the way the world works? Every other time it was all good. Nothing but tortas and fucking carne asada, and it was all love. And then the one time the homeboy did that shit, boom, 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 they almost got smoked. The homeboy was like, "It's your fault. I told you." He was worse than Ricky. Whooping. He was tripping. Anyways, that's my take on Crip Mac and Wade Wilson, man. Wade Wilson, I don't think he'll last longer than 10, and then Florida's going to do something to him, double up, but I think he was given the double up because for that very reason that I said, for justice for both, and also for if there's any type of discrepancy or something, he's able to overturn work, which I don't understand how he would be. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. They got him. But you never know, rules change, things change, laws change. So shit could happen. Anyways, with that being said, man, that's my little take on it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will be dropping more videos today. I got some bangers. But I will say this, never wish incarceration or death upon anyone, man. It's not a good thing because you put that type of energy out into the world, it comes back to you. But there are some cases like chomos, weirdos, man, where it just is what it is. In this guy's case, I was also asked, let me double back real quick about Wade Wilson. Are they going to be tripping on him? Well, he's going to be placed on death row and more like a protective custody type of situation. So there's not going to be many people that can get at him. But let me explain this to you. In California, if Wade Wilson was locked up for these two crimes, okay, let's say he didn't have all the limelight and all the fame and all the shine, and he just went into prison for killing two women. He didn't molest them. He didn't do nothing weird like that. He just got on a good one and did that. I don't know if the Woods would trip or not. It's not like it's a domestic issue, a spousal issue. He was beating them up. This man just killed two women. There's a lot of guys in there for doing that. Now, of course, because he has all this attention and shit, it'd be a little different. Motherfuckers would probably make an example out of him. Now, in the state of Florida, I don't know how they wiggle. I don't know if that's viewed as a bad crime on the yard. And the yard at this point is the only thing that matters to that guy. The streets and the opinions of the people like this that I'm giving you does not fucking matter. Can't help them or hurt them. It just is what it is. But to be honest with you, back in the days, in California, he would have walked the yard, GP, Now, of course, things have changed. And anytime you do anything to women, children, old folks like that, people are going to trip on you, especially, man, if you're a Wood brother, north, south, they're tripping. They're really tripping. So anyways, with that being said, I'll leave that up to the opinion of others and let people speak on that because I'm not too sure. But I'm sure being on death row, he's going to be segregated from everyone, and he's just going to be waiting for that needle. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming, and remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the strive to struggle, the struggle to strive. This is the gum, man. I fucks with it. Bang, bang.